Well, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Casey Stadium for the major semi-final in the 21 and under men's division here at the Indoor Cricket National Championships. I'm Cameron Walter, once again alongside Gary Lowe. Gary Lowe, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Cameron Walter. How are you, my friend?
Yeah, very well, and looking forward to this game between the top two sides in the 21 and under men. Why don't you take us through the lineups?
It'd be my pleasure to do so. South Australia Red, led by Cameron Bullard, Zach Schwartz, Lachlan Ferguson, that's Oliver Stiles, Josh Cameron, Josh Spall, Brad Harris, and Tyler Granger Balding. From now on, I should read from the tournament program and not from the team sheets that I've been handed.
Yeah, messy writing,
absolutely
isn't it?
atrocious.
What's going on with these managers?
Victoria is led out by their captain, Daniel Juricic, Jacob Carruthers, Ben Zommer, Lachlan King, Jared Monday, Jay Jam, Dan Van Hees is having an outstanding tournament thus far. We'll talk about him a little bit later. And Aaron Fernando.
Yeah, and the umpire for the match is Jason Owen from Western Australia. Now, South Australia, they'd probably be favourites here. They've accounted for Victoria both times, but well, it's finals indoor cricket and anything could happen. It's going to be Zach Schwartz. He's bowling to Jared Monday. The non-striker is Lachlan King. And here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, beaten off the first delivery.
Pretty handy start, isn't it?
It's not a bad first ball. Zach Schwartz will be pretty happy with that. And welcome to the crease, Jared Monday. Oh, that's another cracking delivery. South Australia go up for the appeal, but it's come off the legs of Monday, and it's third ball straight away. What a start it is for South Australia. Can they convert this opportunity into a wicket? Oh, that is three cracking deliveries. They've gone unrewarded for Zach Schwartz. Yeah, sharp bowling.
It's always sometimes pretty hard to kind of breathe yourself into a game like that, but he has got it on a string right away, Schwartz. This is an outstanding start here from South Australia. Gee, that is moving an absolute mile. We're in a really good position here. I'm almost directly behind the bowler, and it is swinging around like there's no man's business. So just the one run for Victoria thus far with 2 deliveries left in the first over.
Punched through the gap there for 2. Flat shot, but a safe one in the end, especially as it wasn't gathered cleanly. And 1 ball remains. Oh, not the most convincing shot, and a very sharp piece of fielding from Stiles there on the 3 line. 3 runs from the over. What an over it was from Zach Schwartz. Lowy, I was chatting to the South Australian coach, Mark Harvey, before this game. He made the point to me that he thinks the difference between the sides today will be fielding. Whoever does that job better than the other team will emerge the victor. Your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think so too, and it's interesting, particularly on this show court 1. The courts are possibly just a little bit wider than a standard indoor cricket court, not by any massive amount, but there's just a little bit more space out there. So if you can stem the flow of those runs, you'll go a long way to winning.
Stiles the bowler, King facing that first delivery, and it's a down-up single.
And just on the down-ups as well, I should say, the roof is slightly lower as well. Throughout the week, we've been seeing the ball hit and coming back down to earth quite quickly, so watch for some run-out opportunities present themselves.
And just on the width of the court, you raise a good point there, Gary. I'm told this is 12 metres wide, so indoor calls for it to be somewhere between 10 and 12. And a half, I think it might be.
Yep.
So it certainly is on the wider end. Oh, that's hit up, but it falls safe between the receiver and the 3-line fielder. Monday just not in the game at the moment. Well, I think Zach Schwartz's first couple of deliveries have something to do with that. Put Monday well and truly on the back foot. Chance at the top. The flick is wide. Just a little too tentative there from Stiles. He probably should have had a real zing at that.
Yeah, I think you would have found that he would have been caught short of his ground king as well. So Victoria are a little bit pokey and proddy early on. They're just trying to get their way into this first batting partnership. They're on 6.
Oh, and it's out. The first wicket falls. I thought for a second that Styles was going to nudge it out of the hands of Cameron Bullard, but in the end it falls safely, and South Australia claim their first wicket from another upper shot there.
Yeah, I'm not too sure if that's what you need to be doing right now. If you're on 6 runs and you're trying to get your way in the campaign to win this match, going for the back net there, and you always let the captain catch the ball, Cam. That's rule number 1, don't you? You never take it out of the captain's hands, and Cameron Bullard.
He'd be filthy, wouldn't he?
He'd be spewing.
That brings the second over to an end. Another good one for South Australia. This time they find the reward in the form of a wicket. Jared Monday hitting it into the hands of Cameron Bullard at the back net. The score is still on 3. So interesting with the advent of, two things, Lowy. We've seen the young 13 and under boys division introduced, over 13 years ago now. And here's Granger Balding, first ball hit for a single. And opens, it seems to me, in the men's level, there's some of the older guys are sticking around a bit longer. So that's got a double effect. A lot of these players, just watch this delivery, it's uppish again. Oh, what a screamer from the South Australian skipper. I thought he had no chance of grabbing that. Gary Lowe, he has dived into the back corner with those big jukes and taken a screamer for his team. He'll be out of frame here, but trust me, that's right in front of us. That was a great catch.
Yeah, Cameron Walter may have given up on it, but no one bothered to tell Cameron Bullard, and that is an absolute cracking dismissal. -1, Victoria.
Again, it's these uppish shots.
I'm not a fan of it, to be honest. I think that, although that's along the ground and bringing the fielders into the equation a little bit there, but that's what they need to be doing, just hitting those 2 nets. It's always difficult. I fully appreciate the gravity of the situation, but you just need to kind of hit that reset button and just start hitting those 2 nets. Back net right now, probably not required. That's much better. Good indoor cricket shot. A measured response.
Yeah, it's going back to what I was saying before. The effect of the opens players hanging around a bit longer and the introduction of the younger divisions is a lot of these guys are veterans.
Yeah.
These guys have been playing for 8 years at Nationals. A lot of international experience there as well. So we're seeing for a youth age division, lots of experience out on the court.
And I think it certainly makes for a nice transition should the player be capable of making another uppish shot. Gee, they're rolling the dice here a little bit, Victoria, in particular Monday. But it's a good transition as well for when they do hit their straps and enter in the open men's and open women's divisions as well. They've really spent their time in the trenches. They've earned their stripes, per se. And then when they do hit the bigger stage, they're much better suited to be able to take on the pressures that the open men's and women's division brings.
Well, South Australia at the men's division have sort of been there or thereabouts for a number of years. I think Mackay was probably their best result a few years ago. But, gee, they will love the injection of some of these players into that side as the years go on. Final over to the pair now. Lamerton, the bowler. And a single from the first ball. A down up this time from Monday.
And Monday and King have been really having to fight and struggle for every run. It seems at the moment there's been nothing easy for them at this stage. So South Australia applying the blowtorch to the belly early doors. Victoria just now get into double digits. They move to 10.
Yeah, it's really important. Conclusion of this over coming up. So important for Victoria. They do not lose another wicket. Lamerton continues. Again, uppish. It was punched in the air, flat, into the side net, but they get 2.
So there's certainly still plenty of firepower in this Victorian side as we watch this delivery come down.
Oh, a chance at the keepers, and it fell out of reach of those 3 fielders. So it's safe single in the end.
Coming down safe. So Jacob Carruthers, he'll still come in. Jay Jam, Dan Van Hees, all these players with very, very healthy run averages. Carruthers 17.43, which is very, very impressive. 13.33 for Dan Van Hees and JGM, 12.13. So still plenty of runs left. So I wouldn't be hitting the panic button just yet for Victoria. Of course, I'd like to be a little bit more, no doubt. But it's not all doom and gloom. Still a long way to go in this innings.
Here's the final ball. Edged. I'll get away with a single. So not a bad little rebuild off the last, 10 deliveries of that pair from Victoria. They move to 14 and stay in the game. But South Australia looking good. They want to maintain some of their momentum. Again, it is the 21 and under men's major semi here at Indoor Cricket's National Championships. Thanks to Cricket Australia and the Casey Stadium. What a brilliant facility we have here.
It is absolutely world class, isn't it?
Yeah, so our congratulations to the city of Casey and the facility that they've built here. This part of stage 2 of the redevelopment of the Casey Stadium complex here in Cranbourne. And we do encourage you, if you're in the Melbourne area and you've not been out here, come and check it out. It's a great place to play indoor cricket.
And there's a whole bunch of other stuff too. There's 10-pin bowling around the corner as well. There's basketball, there's badminton. It's all going on here. So I had a very good chat with Amanda Stapleton. She's the mayor of Casey. I now class her as a friend. We're Facebook official friends now, mate. So you know what that means.
Look out.
And she's one very, very proud mayor. And, well done to the city of Casey. And, of course, for embracing our tournament. We appreciate it.
The South Australian skipper gets us back underway. Jay Jam faced that delivery. The non-striker is Daniel Van Hees. Lowy, you've certainly been looking at the stats. You called out a couple of the Victorian players that you think might be able to inject a bit of firepower into this run chase. Who else? I mean, we've seen some great bowling so far from South Australia, but do you think there are others, some of their strike bowlers that they might look to counteract those big hitting Victorians? Yeah,
certainly. I mean, as that ball comes through, 2 scored. Cameron Bullard looks to the heavens. He liked that delivery. Bit grippy as well. This is a somewhat abrasive service because it's just been laid, this synthetic turf, so you might see the ball cut and move a fair bit. But, I mean, Cameron Bullard, he's actually one of the stronger bowlers. So it's interesting here that you've got 2 really good batters in Dan Van Hees and Jay Jam. They're going to be averaging somewhere of about 25. And Cam Bullard, the captain, has come on to try and really just get that ascendancy early before anything happens. So this is 2 really good batters against a really, really good bowler. So this is a good little challenge here at the moment. Cameron Bullard, he's had a very, very impressive tournament.
Oh, chance at the top. Gee, that was a good piece of fielding. It was a hesitant decision from Jason Owen, but he stuck with it and has given Daniel Van Hees out. I tell you what, it'll be tight. Let's take a look at the replay, thanks to playcricket.com.au. Oh, I like the call.
Yeah, I like it. He had a big, long, hard look at it.
See, it's one of those things that to the naked eye, Gary, that things look a lot further in than they are. You'd slow it down and look to me on that replay that Van Hees was indeed short of his ground.
And it's funny you say that because more often than not, that is the way it goes. You think that they're home, but they're out. It's always that way. Sometimes it obviously happens the other way. You think, I'm not too sure. He was given out, but he was in. But yeah, it's funny how that happens. But when you slow it right down and you have a look, the umpire usually gets it pretty right.
Well, spoken like a former umpire, Gary.
Yes, I was a part of the umpires union yesterday, having a chat to the team, and
they had a union meeting.
A good job. Yeah, we had a union meeting. Excellent. Banged the gavel, made some decisions.
Very good. Now that wicket late in the over, Cameron Bullard with that run out, -1 from the over. So this pair too has some rebuilding to do after the first over. Now it's Ferguson. Jam on strike as well, hits it for a single. Down up behind square on the offside.
Of course, I've got absolutely no idea what the battle plan is here for South Australia, but I wouldn't be surprised to see Oliver Stiles come in and bowl sometime in the next handful of overs. That's a very classy indoor cricket shot, and diving too. I like to see that with players towards the end of the week. I mean, they're under 21. They're built like rubber bands, so they can do that.
The other thing about that is it was a safe shot. He probably didn't need to dive, but he just got run out at the top on a tight call from not diving from a safe shot. So he's learned his lesson early, Van Hees.
So South Australia right on top here at the moment. I think they're going to want to continue to do that. Oliver Styles, I think he's, we were talking about earlier before some outstanding play interrupted our discussion, Cameron.
Yes.
But he's one of the real key bowlers as well with Cameron Bullard. That's called leg side. Good call there by the official. Oliver Styles taking 9 wickets in this campaign, which is the most wickets for his team. Also leaks the lowest amount of runs chance here. Oh, 7 overthrows. That's gone, oh, that's way out the back. So contributing, or not contributing, conceding, I should say, the least amount of runs as well as Oliver Styles. So, yeah, I'd expect to see him come in very shortly.
Fought their way back to 7. Final ball of the over now. It's driven, it's through, and it'll be 4. They needed that, the Victorians. That's a little momentum builder, that one. A nice flat shot into the backcourt for 4 to conclude the over. And maybe that'll put them back on track.
Yeah, you know, 25 at the moment with the state of the games. Pretty good. I thought, you made a very good comment. The first batting partnership, I know 14 doesn't look overly impressive, but they had to fight their way back. I mean, they were negative 1 at one stage there. They were going to a pretty dark place at one stage. So to be able to get 14 for the first skin, they're halfway through the second batting partnership. They're on 11. This Victoria side, they're going to be looking at a score around 80 to 90. That's kind of where they're at. So at the moment, things are coasting kind of okay. Maybe South Australia with a nose in front.
Big leg side there from Granger Balding. Bit of a loosener. This is his second over. That's was the intended target. And he nails it for the second delivery.
Cameron Bullard talking to Granger Balding, telling him stay right there, and he doesn't. He decides to send it down leg side, readjust the radar. A couple of leg sides starting to trickle in here. Victorians will be loving it. It's good. No risk associated with getting the 2 runs. You can watch it go by. 2 on the leg side, so they'll be targeting the legs.
Oh, it's a nice, confident shot from Jam. We've seen him play some really impressive innings over the years. And one of the things I've admired about his gamesmanship is he very rarely folds to any sort of pressure. He's one of those young men that just plays his game no matter what is going on around him, and that's invaluable in a pressure-filled sort of final.
Yeah, it's one of the things with the 21 and under division. You find a lot of players with a lot of confidence. I remember what it was like to be 21, and I had confidence coming out the wazoo. But quite right, and again, is the leg side. The discipline here by South Australia. I need to get that back on track. You know, some of these players, we've been calling their names out. Exactly right, what you said earlier on as well. We've been calling their names out for 8-9 years. You know, it's crazy. You look through this list here. You know, the captain, Cameron Bullard, not too long ago, you know, I remember umpiring him at a Junior World Series in Toombul, you know, when he was just a kid. And now here he is, a young man, and leading his state.
From my perspective, he's still just a kid.
Just still a kid, yeah.
I shouldn't say that. I'm not that old.
No, not at all.
He's old enough. Yeah, young man. Fair enough.
Yeah, young man.
But yeah, spot on. That, and it's interesting for me that we'll just let Lamondon get his second over underway here. Yeah, and squeeze behind the square for a single. It's interesting to me from a South Australian perspective, and perhaps even from a Victorian one, that we haven't seen a lot of these young, very talented, very experienced guys crack into the men's team yet. So whether that's a preference thing or they're simply not being picked. In the case of, this is a certain wicket, they've thrown that away. Confusion, just as they were starting to get back on top. Yeah. They're really well placed in this pair. That wicket pegs them back. And they disagreed about where to go.
Yeah.
And no one corrected.
No, the email was sent, the other person didn't bother reading it. And quite right, they were sitting at 22. Kind of ballpark that this batting partnership would be around that 20-25. And now they're back down to 17. They can still easily get above the 20. I'm sure that's what they'll be looking for. 4 balls remain in this final over of the batting pair.
Wow.
That time, gee, look at the communication then.
Yeah, we've seen 2 of those adjustments from this pair.
Yeah.
First, the run out of Van Hees in that first over where he then started to dive, and then that where they haven't run because of the run-outs that they have had, despite the misfield.
Well, no, that's a killer.
They didn't learn that time, did they?
That is a killer.
That's a repeat of the first run-out in that over. Just confusion between these 2 pairs, and that has come as a result, ladies and gentlemen, of the pressure these South Australian fielders are creating. The coach, Mark Harvey, said the difference in this game will be the side, the side that will be victorious will be the one that fields to their plan, that takes their chances, and this South Australian side, well, they're just in their face. 2 to come. Oh, again, direct hit slap. It is all South Australia right now. These 2 were in the mid-20s, and all of a sudden,
7.
Yeah, what an over this is proven to be for the South Australians. And again, it is the fielding doing the job.
Yeah, Mark Harvey, he's a wizard, isn't he? He's an indoor cricket wizard. He's a very smart man. And it's exactly what he's predicted is exactly what's happening here. And that run out there is a perfect example. That's maybe a 25% chance, and they have taken it with both hands. Last ball, leg side, they'll definitely re-bowl that one. Gee, so that's really thrown the cat amongst the pigeons. And in 1 over, everything has changed. Victoria were well on track, and now all of a sudden reeling at 23 after 8 overs. Well done, South Australia. What an outstanding over this has been.
Oh, see, there it is again. Just because of what South Australia have been doing, that sort of a shot definitely warranted being hesitant, but they probably could have scampered through there. So, what will that? Will we see the same from the next pair, having seen all of that happen? Tentative cricket remains to be seen, ladies and gents. The 21 and under men's major semi-final, Victoria up against South Australia again. If you're just joining us, I'm Cameron Walter alongside Gary Lowe. We're here thanks to playcricket.com.au, where you can punch in your postcode and find your local centre. There you go. Great way to get involved with this great form of cricket played all around the country. Take the floor and play indoor. What's in store in this pair, Gary Lowe?
Yeah, well, look, they're going to need to rebuild. They're at 23. I was going to say with that last batting partnership, kind of once bitten, twice shy, but it was more like once, twice, 3 times, 4 times bitten, and the errors just kept coming. So, look, these guys, again, we talked about it in the first batting partnership. Wherever that reset button is, they've got to hit it. The good news is these guys are fresh. They're coming in.
Yep.
That's all they need to concentrate on. You can't change what's already happened. There's nothing you can do about that now, but you've got every single ounce of control over your destiny moving forward. And I'd really like to see from this Victorian batting partnership here to stand up, take the game by the scruff of the neck, and say to the guys in the team, listen, we're going to pick it up and run with it here. So big batting partnership.
And it's interesting for me, Cam Bullard is bowling this over. So
yeah,
I've always, those that have heard me commentate before will know, I've always admired captains that lead from the front, that bat themselves or bowl themselves in pressure situations, field themselves in key positions, and lead by example. Cam Bullard is at least attempting that right now.
Yeah, 100%, and that's exactly what you like to see from your captains. You know, sometimes your players don't follow the title of captain, that they follow, oh, that's a classy shot, 3 runs, but they follow exactly what Cameron Walters just discussed there, what you actually do on the court. Just because you've got the C next to your name doesn't particularly mean that you're capable of leading your team, but when you do actions like this, it goes a long way. Again, 2 on the leg side. They've employed it a few times. Giving himself just a little bit of space out there. You can see him just shuffle to the leg side, Fernando, to give himself some room. Bowler changing direction, acknowledged by the umpire. Of course, each time you change sides of the wicket, you do need to let the umpire know, or it is a no ball. Still employing 2 on the leg side. Victoria having a very successful tournament, not just in this division, but in the men's and women's division. We'll be certainly looking forward to the outcomes of those matches.
Well, to your point there, Gary, that that's one of the comments I was making about this Victorian 21 side. The Victorian men's side is so strong and successful at the moment.
Yeah.
That is such a tough side to crack.
Yep.
And there are even players that aren't in that side at the moment that still could be. So you got this young Victorian side here and a very strong men's side. We've got a lot of years of Victorian success to come.
Yeah, well, I was having a chat to, will it get to 2? It does. Gallant fiddling there from Ferguson, getting some hands on it, but still skipping onto the net. Had a very good chat this morning with Clive Rose. Some exclusive content that you can get from the Yellow Ball podcast.
Oh, tick.
Boom, there it is.
10th over, ladies and gentlemen.
There it is. And Clive Rose very accommodating with his time. And he talked about exactly that.
Bit of a tic-tac-toe there.
Yeah.
Go on, Gary.
Precisely what you said. It's the players that almost aren't making the squad, which shows you how strong it is.
Definitely.
And
definitely.
They're also keeping that same core group of players. You know, I said one of the questions, I'll give away a little bit of the content. I said, you know, can you give a little bit of commentary as to why the side's so strong this year? He said, well, it's not actually this year's side that's so strong, it's what happened to us last year.
Yeah.
You know, they came so close and so far towards winning a national championship. They were really, really disappointed that they didn't get across the line. So the same group of guys have said, you know what, we're going to train our butts off for the next year and come back bigger and better and stronger. It's exactly what they've done. So really good division, that one.
And, well, at least in the first game of the tournament, certainly got their revenge against the ACT, keeping them to 28.
Yeah.
And then chasing them down in the second game, scoring 44 in the last pair to get across the line by a couple of runs. So
there's been some wacky stuff here this week, hasn't there?
Now, back to this game, ladies and gentlemen. Again, another little rebuild here from Victoria. They need that from this pair. It's the clutch pair of any innings, the third partnership, particularly when the preceding ones lost a couple of wickets in the final over of theirs. So doing a job so far. Can they maintain it, though?
And look, Victoria are really going to need to get that 80 or 90 that I was kind of crystal balling for them, because look at the other side of the coin, the other side of the pancake. You know, this South Australian side is going to run that down. I'd be expecting them to be getting just into the hundreds. That's where this South Australia side's going to be. So
what impact, though, do you think that chasing in a final has on what you expect from a run chase?
Yeah.
I'd back you into if South Australia were batting first.
Yep.
Do you think that's impacted in the run chase?
It does, I think. But by the same token, you can measure your approach in that run chase. So when you're batting first, sometimes you don't know, like, is that enough? You know, should I be doing more? But when you're kind of batting second, you can break it down into those little wins, the little goals. You look at 100, you think, oh, it's a bit of a big score. But if you break it down, okay, I only need a handful and over, and then kind of go from there. So I'd back them in to get the 100, and I think that they'd be comfortable. If Victoria get 80 or 90, South Australia will back their ability. And can I also make comment on the crowd that's starting to build? And I'm loving this grandstand here on Show Court 1. Cam, how good does it look?
Yeah, it's fantastic. And credit to the Victorian public, the fans, friends and family of all of the Victorian indoor sides. They've kept it busy all week during this tournament, which is great to see. Big shout. They seemed disappointed, South Australia, but for me, Fernando was, well, home by a good metre.
Yeah, he looked pretty safe. We'll watch the replay to see if that can give us any additional evidence.
Oh, it's a direct hit. I see why they went up now, but still safe.
Yeah, he was home.
That replay thanks to playcricket.com.au. This will be Brad Harris, who's bowling to Fernando. He's gone for 4 so far, but created that chance. Oh, well, it's gone for 4. Well, 5 in the end. It's one of those ones, if he'd left it for Josh Ball at the back, it would have been a dot.
Yeah, and also, you know, if it goes on to tickle the stumps, perhaps there could have been a run out. So there was a whole stack of what-ifs with that particular delivery, but it's 5 in the scorebook. Victoria 49, 26. Let's not lose focus of that. 26 in this batting partnership as he pulls away there. Cameron Bullard has a bit of a chat. I think he was just taking a little bit too long there in his setup.
Right.
And not happy with Victoria pulling back.
Finds the edge, a chance at the top. Indecision. Fernando had almost stopped running. I think he expected the ball to come back that way. Styles, again, fielding well, but he had to go to one end instantly for there to be a run out there.
Yeah, I think his brain was working overtime. I think he was thinking the top sticks first and then decided late to go to the wicket-keeper's end.
Yeah, perhaps correctly. Fernando was guilty of ball watching. 2 to come for Harris. Straight to Styles. Little bit of gamesmanship there. Styles and Zoma staring each other down a little bit.
Yeah, we like to see that. And again, South Australia employing the 2 on the leg side, and they've done so quite well. Except for that one. Quite often you do see sides employ that 2 on the leg side, and they just don't bowl to their field, and it's just a waste, you know what I mean? So I don't mind seeing the 2 on the leg side if you're going to kind of execute that plan. And there's a little bit there in the early stages of the second batting partnership, where they're a little bit ill-disciplined, but they've been pretty good most of this game, South Australia. And then, of course, once it has got to their field, they've been electric. Any kind of small chance they've really taken advantage of when they've got that bowling in the right areas.
Well, every time Victoria fought back, South Australia have done the same. It's going to be Josh Spall now. Will we see those areas? Will we see that electricity in the field? 6 balls here. This pair on 30. It's been a big resurrection here. Here's Spall to Zoma. Beaten. Good start.
And, you know, a score like this you would have expected to have seen from a Jay Jam or Dan Van Hees batting partnership, but it is Zoma and Fernando. With the greatest respect to these players as we watch that shot go for 1 again. Sharp fielding, Ferguson down there in the front court. You know, Zoma's averaging 11.88, and it gets kind of a little bit worse for Fernando, who's down at 8.75, which is kind of second lowest in the group.
So that's good for a partnership.
It's brilliant.
On average of 20. And here they are 30 plus with a handful of balls to go.
And I think I used the term grab the game by the scruff of the neck about what these 2 batters have to do to stand up and show their team this is the direction we're heading in, guys, stick with us. And they've done so. This is a really fantastic display of what leaders are made of. And leg side, Cameron Bullard questioning, but I might have been questioning the very loose throw from the wicketkeeper perhaps. But yeah, this has been an exemplary effort. Very impressive. 34 for this batting partnership. Exactly what Victoria needed.
Oh, it's a good shot there too. Just a little bit shorter and a little bit wider than, for example, the first ball that Spall bowled to Zoma that just went over the top of the off stump. That one gave him enough room to play that shot, and he did so confidently. 2 to come now, courtesy of the earlier leg side. Good follow-up from Spall, but unrewarded. 1 to come now. So this pair will finish in the 30s, irrespective of the outcome of this delivery. A desperately needed 30 partnership, and they've delivered the goods.
Could they hit a 5? Nah.
They weren't going to hit a 5. All right, the final ball goes for 2 to make my comment an accurate one. And 38 on the board. That's a fantastic partnership for this pair. A couple of deliveries from South Australia got through them, but again, they were unrewarded. And they saw them off, and well, they put the runs on the board. 38 runs just when it was needed for Victoria. 61 on the board now, and they're in the space where they can get to a nice competitive total here, Gary.
Yeah, you know, the last batting partnership don't have to do anything overly drastic in order to give Victoria a fighting chance to win this game. Said it a number of times, 80, 90, that's kind of where Victoria's at. These guys can come out here and hit 20 and they're in their 80s. That's beautiful, and they don't have to work too hard. 20's very, very achievable. Schwartz didn't have a cracking first over, though. He could be hard to handle and still is.
Starts well, Jurisic is on strike. I got the mail from the manager, Sam Bright. It's Jurisic.
Beautiful, because
But I've been mispronouncing that for years, I think.
I was about to say I've been calling him a Jurikic or a Juricic.
Well, I actually remember checking with Sam Bright last year, and he told me Juricic. And I went, okay. And Sam said, he told me today it's Jurisic. So there you go.
What a stitch-up.
Yeah. Schwartz continuing. Oh, that'll be out. What a fantastic delivery that is. Big in-swinging Yorker. Thanks for coming. And Schwartz cashes in. That's actually his first wicket. Can you believe that?
Yeah, well, he certainly deserved it. It's good to see him get through, and thanks for letting us know about Juricic. Juricic?
Jurisic.
Jurisic. I'm going to spell that phonetically here on my little run sheet. Jurisic. Yeah, he had a really good National Indoor Cricket League match not too long ago, and I was saying his name about 28 times. And, wrong every time. So, Jurisic. Okay.
You could opt for Daniel.
Yeah, Dan.
Change up there from Schwartz. Seen and respected by Carruthers. And now third ball. This is, I think, about the fourth time in the match. Beaten and out. Schwartz coming up with the goods for South Australia. He bowled a brilliant first over, only going for 3 runs. This time, 2 wickets in the over and not a single run scored off the other 4 deliveries. He finishes with figures of 2 for -7. He's exactly the guy you want bowling the first over to a batting pair. Yeah,
I mean, you're looking at the 2 sides here at the moment when you're going through your highlights package when we get to the end of the game, and that's going to be one big play. The 2 overs of Schwartz, and we'll obviously talk about the third batting partnership of Victoria as well. So both sides having various aspects of this game very well, but I tell you what here, oh my goodness, that's much closer than what it should have been.
Yeah, Jurisic taking his time to get home.
He was.
Ferguson over.
He sure was.
A direct hit would have been interesting, as you see there on the replay. Oh, well, didn't know much about that one, did Carruthers.
And so, again, we were talking about, like, this batting partnership only needs to come out and hit 20, and then things will be pretty cruisy for them. Now they're neg 9, so all of a sudden it's got to be 30, and they've got less balls to deal with now. And that's the brutal thing about indoor cricket. As some run relief comes along with the 3, looking for the back net, but really good shot, hit into the corner there. Hard for the fielders to get to.
Just on that third ball that they converted to a wicket there at the end of Jack Schwartz's over. The other point Mark Harvey, the South Australian coach, made to me was that at one point across successive games, the South Australian side had 25 consecutive third ball opportunities without affecting a wicket.
Wow.
So they've obviously been doing some work on that. Has he called that? What's he called that one? Yeah, that's correct. Well, no, that hit the net, didn't it?
Yeah.
Is he ordered that as it being interfered with?
Well, has he given it? Yeah,
it's
given
one
it
in the book. I'm not sure what's happened there, Gary.
If he's interfered with it, then he's interfered with it.
And it's a penalty.
Correct.
Yeah.
It's not just, you interfere with it and, we'll just give you the physical run that you've run. Because if that's the case, you'll have batters interfering with the barely seeking ball left, right and centre. So
and I think that's why Cam Bullard is still questioning what's happened. You saw when it first happened immediately that he's said, hang on a second.
Yep.
And it looks to me like Jason Owen has therefore given it 1. But Cam Bullard is echoing your sentiments. So, okay, well, if he's interfered with it, that is a penalty.
And that's an extremely fair grievance that Cameron Bullard has.
Well, we'll have to have a chat to Jason post-game and get the mail on what's happened there. But Harris will get us back underway. Starts with a foolish wide delivery that beats the batsman in the form of Jurisic and puts them on third ball. The score sits on 58. A spot in the 21 and under grand final on the line. Great delivery, but Jurisic gets away, the Vic skipper, with a single.
And that's a really telling statistic as well with the third ball conversion. It's a stat that I really love. Unfortunately, it's a stat that isn't readily available, and the only way to get it is to go through the scorecard, and it keeps me up at nights, unfortunately. But I love that third ball conversion stat. And the amount of dot balls. That's another stat I wish was automatically populated as well, but unfortunately I sit there with a magnifying glass. I think it's really telling. So, yeah, 25 third ball opportunities without converting. That's ridiculously poor. From the kind of research that I've been doing over the last couple of years on third ball opportunities, generally somewhere around 17-ish% is where it's at. So maybe 1 in every 4 or 5 third ball opportunities, you kind of take it.
I might know someone that works in technology at Cricket Australia, but I can tell you there's some...
That's Cameron Walter, everybody.
there's actually a lot of... Oh, gee, that'll be out.
That would have been good.
It's just a couple of things about that. Springier nets, much higher tension and wider courts.
Yeah.
So that ball's come out a lot sharper and quicker than Styles expected, and he had a lot more distance to cover. So that's why that one was safe, and they got away with it. There's a lot of work being done in all sports, but certainly in cricket, and it has applications for indoor cricket, in artificial intelligence and its analysis of video footage. So at the moment, for example, at the World Cup, the Australian cricket team has an analyst there who watches every delivery and codes that delivery. So it says, where did it pitch? What was the variation? Where did it go? What contact did the batsman make with it? Who fielded it? All of that stuff. So a player can look at every ball that they hit that was pitched there. You know, what was the result? What was the outcome? They can look at it every time they've been dismissed off a particular type of bowler, all of that.
Yeah, right.
But that relies on a person, as Spall bowls his second over now, inputting that information.
Yeah.
The next generation of that will be a computer seeing that footage, tracking the ball, and outputting the information.
Wow.
And again, that has applications for indoor cricket. At the moment, though, that AI relies on tracking a red ball in a sun setting, modifying that so that it tracks a yellow ball against varying backgrounds.
Yeah.
Different story. But the point being, maybe you won't have to stay up at night so much in future.
Yeah, thanks. That's, some really interesting stuff. And I'm the worst person in the world when it comes to technology. I think I'm flat out turning on my laptop at the best of times. But, that's incredible, and what a wonderful insight for the players as well to be able to get that kind of information. You know, that's brilliant.
Yeah, the manual input side of things is something that we perhaps in the indoor form need to explore a little bit more, because it's certainly possible. But 2 balls remain in the innings. Carruthers just gets a nice 3 there to get the total back towards something they feel like they might be able to defend here. But very important last delivery here from Josh Spall. It's full and hit with some confidence this time by Jurisic to bring the Victorian innings to a close. And they finish on 69 runs. Now that's below par, Gary, for not just in terms of what you would expect walking into this game, but also because of where they were at various points. So we'll break that down a little bit shortly. But in the meantime, ladies and gents, if you are just joining us, thank you for your company for this, the 21 under men's major semi-final. On the line here today is a spot in the grand final. For the loser, they will have to fight their way through the prelim final if they're to play in the final. So it is not sudden death for these two sides, but at the end of a long tournament, the need to play one less game is so important. And again, folks, we're here thanks to the City of Casey and their wonderful facility here. Our thanks to them and all of the staff that work at the YMCA who administer this facility on behalf of the council. And also playcricket.com.au, where you can take the floor, play indoor, just punch in your postcode. Find your local centre all around the country, all ages, all skill levels. Indoor cricket can be played at. And finally, to our long-time ball partner in Burleigh Seacombe, who continue, Gary, to produce the gold standard in indoor cricket ball.
Yeah, they're world-class, Burleigh Seacombe, aren't they? And not only just for indoor cricket here in Australia as well, across many different nations, indoor cricket New Zealand, South Africa. So, yeah, the wider indoor cricketing community certainly do love them. And, yeah, Burleigh Seacombe, they're the best, there's no doubt.
Just jumping on play cricket yourself, are you, mate?
You can just give me any numbers, Cam. Give me any numbers. Give me a postcode.
2902 would be mine.
2902. You whack that in, you can go to Canberra. Is that right, Canberra?
Yeah, mate. I think you hit the wrong button there, mate.
I did,
you're struggling with technology.
It did say Canberra before. Where did it go?
Look.
Oh,
that's where you punch it in. And now you click on the where it says Canberra.
That's the bit you got to click.
All you Queenslanders keep saying Canberra.
Oh, is it not Canberra?
It's Canberra. You got an emphasis on the bar.
Ah, no, Canberra.
And see, so that
Canberra.
shows us all the forms of cricket you can play around that postcode, indoor included.
Yeah, you can even play at Wood Ducks Cricket Club, Isabella Plains Neighbourhood Oval.
Yeah,
Isabella
they're a
Plains.
city and suburban outdoor park cricket club, those guys. Now, the run chase is underway here. Cam Bullard and Zach Schwartz have opened the batting for South Australia, and the bowler is Jacob, excuse me, Carruthers. That's my Pepsi Max there.
It's okay, hold on. That's good.
Now I'm getting some applause from the production team for that one.
Yes. Oh, man alive. I'm isolating that audio, brother.
Yeah, put it on your podcast,
Yes.
pal.
I love you, Cameron Walter. That's brilliant, man.
So 3 runs on the board. He's calling for 2. 3 runs courtesy of a single and then a leg side.
Yeah, Bullard's claiming that it's come off the gloves, and he's not overly impressed that the official said it's off the forearm.
Well, I'm not sure why he cares so much. Oh, he's talking about the previous delivery.
Yes,
Now I understand.
yeah.
If it's a leg side or off the bat, it's 2. But yeah, he's talking about the previous delivery. A little bit of traffic there for Bullard to navigate.
Yeah, I'm sure Bullard probably could have got around him as well, but I think he's just making a bit of a point that Fernando's got in his way there. He put his arm up apologetically, but he's gone straight back through him.
Final ball for Carruthers. Catches the pants, goes through for a dot, and that'll be 3rd ball for the 2nd over.
I know that there are some folks listening who'd be keen for some score updates in some other games, but where we are here on Show Court 1, it's we're kind of a little bit hidden. We're tucked around the corner from the other courts. So
what court would you like to see, Gary?
Have you got the IT guy? He's got everything. So it's the other semi-final, or the other semi-finals that are happening. It's don't like to do social media call-outs midway through the game, but John McLaughlin at Cricket Australia Indoors jumped on, and he'd like a score check from the other semi. If you let us know which one you're chasing, John, I'm sure that Cameron Walter will be able to assist you.
So court 4 we need to look at. Let's have a look.
See, here I was like a right royal goose, craning my neck, trying to get up out of the seat, but Cameron Walter's got it all here on his laptop as we watch play here as Cameron's doing the IT heavy lifting for us.
Queensland up against WA in that sudden death minor semi-final. Queensland have posted 86. So that's a competitive total. Be an interesting finish over there, and we'll keep you up to date with it. Van Hees continuing here. Bullard on strike, gets a down-up single behind square, offside.
Yeah, Daniel Van Hees has been one of the real standout players for his side, taking plenty of wickets, 15 wickets, the most for the Victorians. Generates quite a fair bit of pace. I'm happy to say he's a shorter kind of bloke. I'm a short lad, so I don't mind saying it, but he really does steam through the crease and generates a lot of pace. You know, you look at someone like Cameron Bullard or Schwartz from South Australia, they're quite tall. But Dan Van Hees, good pace. Had a very, very good National Indoor Cricket League season coming into these national championships. Been calling out his name plenty. It's good to see him continue the form.
Driven well by Bullard, just because of the placement more than anything else.
Yeah.
Flat shot, so that often comes with an element of risk in indoor cricket, but he's placed that perfectly wide of the three-line fielder. And, well, the angles, that sends it into the back court for 4.
Yeah, and there was no one really within a bull's roar of getting to the yellow burley Seacombe on that occasion, and very, very safe shot. Victoria, they finished on 69. South Australia Red in their run chase, replying are on 15 at the moment. 2 overs have gone. It'll be King.
Yeah, Lachlan King, he's been around for a while. It's too full to start. Fields well off his own bowling, but the damage done. It's it for a down up 3.
Yeah, you know, you've got the 2 fielders on the leg side and your bowler fully outside off. So he's still going to employ the 2 on the legs.
This time to the left-hander.
Yeah, so that angle, because he's coming right arm around the wicket, so you'd expect it to be on the legs a little bit more, and it is. Chance.
It'd be interesting then to see what he does here then, if he persists with his 2-man leg side fielder, the right-hander, and it appears that he will be.
Because it's much trickier for him. It's a very fine line that he's got to walk. And that's what happens, yep. That's exactly what happens. If you don't get it quite right, then it's a leg side, and if you got that angle too far coming across, then that batter's got plenty of time to play that offside shot. So I'm not too sure. Maybe if he came the other side of the wicket, it might make his life a little bit easier. But Lachlan King, he's got his own plans.
Oh, he's just punished that into the back court for 5. Has an increasingly confident Cam Bullard. This run chase is getting off to a great start for South Australia.
Yeah, Lachlan King just trying to roll the fingers on that one with a bit of a cutter, but far too full. No opportunity for that ball to kick and move. 27, aren't they steaming ahead? And this has been a costly over.
Yeah, it has. 14 from it already with a ball to come. That's on the back of 10 runs from Van Hees, which lets down a decent first over from Carruthers that only went for 5. This time the 2-man field works, that ball going straight to hand. But South Australia, they're up, they're confident, and the calling is spot on. It was an early no call and they went nowhere. But 14 runs from the over, they moved to 29. And when you're in pursuit of 69, that is a cracking start from 3 overs.
Yeah, it's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. And South Australia, I would have envisaged that they would be getting that 100 total. That's where I put them at. And 69, they'd certainly be feeling very comfortable at this stage. There's no doubt about it. Jared Munday, spelled M-U-N-D, so not Monday as in the day Monday.
Oh, important distinction there, mate.
Call him Monday.
He may well be Monday. Maybe we need the Sam Bright to give us the mail on that one. Now, I just noticed before Cam Bullard, I'm not sure if we caught it on the screen, but it looked to me like he was having some trouble with his calf. It just goes to show how important it is, even though this isn't a sudden death game, how important a win is for either side, just to get tired, injured bodies through to the final. If they have to play another game and a sudden death one at that, that's crucial. So a lot on the line here today.
Yeah, and you're quite right, because you know what, maybe that calf's only got one more good game left in it.
Yep.
You know, and you burn that game in the next one to try and make the grand final. So absolutely right. I couldn't agree more. Really is quite telling.
Good effort from 2 of the Vic fielders, but the ball finds the net nonetheless, and another 2 to the South Australian skipper, who has raced to 22. Dot ball there again. Intelligent calling from these 2. See, you're looking at some history there in the 21 and under men. We might have a bit of a chat about that between batting pairs, Lowy. Interesting information that you've come up with there. That's a good delivery, but they scamper through for a single and move to 36. Dominant start it has been. I think punctuated by the intelligent calling, because when Victoria have got it right, there's still no chance for them to affect that wicket. Last ball. Happy to see that off for a dot is the South Australian skipper, and 36 on the board for the team in red in pursuit of Victoria's 69. What do you make of that, Gary?
Oh, I make it that's absolute gold. That's money in the bank, baby. 36. That's an unbelievable start when you're only chasing 69 as well. That now just takes so much pressure off these next three batting partnerships. They don't have to take really too many risks. And if things go a little bit scary for them, they can still steady themselves, and not really get massive big scores and still get away with the win. So that's huge, huge. It makes the play for the next six players a much more simpler equation.
Now, we see that Oliver Stiles and Tyler Granger-Balding are on the court for Victoria. Jam is... for South Australia. Jam will bowl for Victoria. Talk to us about the history, recent history in this 21 and under men's division, Lowy.
Yeah, it's been interesting. Queensland have won it the last 2 years in a row, and WA, it's surprising that they actually won three. I knew they had a couple of years, but Queensland in 17-18, and then WA 14-15 and 16. So it's been a bit of a Queensland-a-thon in the 21 division. South Australia have yet to win a 21 and under division since its inception in 1993.
Or 21 and under men's division.
Men's, yes.
Reigning champions in the 21 and under women. That was quite a story in the 21 and under women. They didn't win a game until the only two they had to win the title.
Not a bad time to peak, hey?
You only have to win the games that count. And this is one of them, the major semi-final. Can Stiles and Granger-Balding continue the momentum put on by the opening partnership?
Yeah, and just in that 21 and under women's division, if South Australia are going to do it again this year, they're going to have to do something very similar at the moment.
Maybe it's
maybe that's the way they like to do things. Yeah.
Big shot here from Tyler Granger-Balding. 4 runs to get his innings underway. It's not that uncommon, I suppose, particularly in the aged limited groups divisions, that you see a lot more sort of classic cricket shots along the carpet. Textbook type drives. But we've seen that a lot. We saw it 2 or 3 times from Cam Bullard, and that shot there from Granger-Balding just in the gap, like just in the right spot for that shot. Some talented cricketers out there on display. Another dot, so 2 in a row there. Will be third ball to start the 6th over. And, well, it's about time for Victoria that they'll need a couple of wickets, and this might be an opportunity for them to do so. See some of the crowd there here at Casey Stadium here to watch. It will be locals. There's plenty of Victorians up there. You can see, looks like one of the 21 and under girls Vic teams. Some of the Lord's Taverners there as well. Here's Fernando. Great piece of fielding. Van Hees. He's a little firecracker, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. He was all over that ball. He's so fast to get to it. Hurling the ball at the non-striker's end and falling back into the netting.
I think, I'm not sure that Van Hees played last year in the 21s, but I think there was the year prior to that in Mackay, maybe? I think we were, or whatever year it was, Opens was last in Mackay. Stretching my memory there.
I think 2 years ago.
Yeah, so he played in the 17s and the 21s. So he had a fortnight of cricket, and impressive in both those divisions. Oh, just good movement there from Granger-Balding to get across. Didn't find the net, but it was a safe shot again. Not a flat shot into a gap this time, a nice down-up shot.
Yeah, it's good communication there between striker and non-striker. It's interesting with Granger Balding. He's got a pretty healthy average, 15.67, but he's got the biggest strike rate in the side of 149.21. So although he doesn't have another chance here, nice little flick. Although he doesn't have the highest average, he's got the biggest strike rate. So that means that he may not have seen as many deliveries as the rest to be able to score those runs, but the balls that he does get, he makes good runs from it.
Gets as much value as possible. Yeah. An interesting choice of headwear there from one of the South Australians. Although I strongly suspect it's probably not his choice.
No. That's right. Looks like a unicorn type adornment.
Adornment. Good usage.
Is it?
Yeah, I like it. So this will be the 7th over. It's Carruthers with the job. They need to find something here, Victoria. They need a spark similar to that over that the South Australians found where they got those 3 run-outs. That was Van Heesen Jam, I think it was.
Yes, it was.
They need an over like that. They need somebody to stand up here and create something from nothing. There's been a couple of opportunities they've had where a flick, direct hit, any of that sort of thing would have affected the wicket. They just haven't found it yet. So the game's starting to get away from them early. We're not even halfway through this innings. If you had your pick, if you were going to pick a fielder out there or a bowler, I'm going to put you on the spot here. Who's it going to be?
I think probably Lachlan King or Dan Van Hees.
As fielders or bowlers?
As fielders. Bowlers, Jared Monday, although he's already bowled, he's still got one to go.
He does, yeah.
Or Jay Jam. Jay Jam in particular, he's been really good at taking 13 wickets from his 8 games. And having the lowest run conceded average as well, only leaking 4.25 runs.
How does that compare with his wickets? So does that come from bowling dots or from taking wickets?
In what way, sorry?
You're saying he's conceded the least amount of runs?
Yeah. That's an accumulation of dot balls and wickets. So sometimes
no, I understand that, but I guess what I'm after is it that low because he's taking a lot of wickets,
yes,
or because he's bowling a lot of dots?
Yes, sorry, I understand the question.
Yep.
Wickets, yeah. He's only Dan Van Hees has taken more wickets than him. Dan Van Hees has taken 15, and Jay Jam's taken 13. So it's a wicket-based type thing. I understand what you're saying. There's I forget who it is now. It's in the Opens division, and he's hardly taken any wickets, but his run conceded average is like 4 or something stupid.
Yep.
And it's
something
just
stupid.
It's just
something useful if you're the coach of that side. Yeah.
It's just crazy. It's just it's just really good at building those dot balls. Excellent at it, but unfortunately not converting. And probably my stat of the tournament, which may have shifted. This was only current as of 2:30 yesterday afternoon, so I may have to check now. But Cam Boyce was the only player to have a run conceded average that was negative numbers for his bowling. So every time he got the ball in hand at the end of that over, you'd expect runs to come off the total.
Yeah.
The only player, not just in that division, but the entire tournament that has that. So, you know what? Curiosity's got the better of me. I'm going to check it out.
Better go check it.
Yeah, I'm going to go check that one out.
In terms of this game, while you do that, Jurisic is bowling the last over this pair. We just saw Tyler Granger bowling play another great shot there, shuffling across onto his onside and hitting a nice safe but dominant down up. And, well, these two have been on third ball twice. So those and some other dots as well. They haven't been scoring at a rate of knots, but they haven't lost a wicket either, and they're well placed. Oh, well, there's another great shot. Gee, I've been impressed with Granger Balding. There was probably an element of risk in that one, but they've got the runs to play with, and they're really on the ascendancy here, South Australia. It's tough to see them losing from here, Gary.
No, I think that certainly don't want to call it home and hose, but it is very, very difficult here.
Chance. Oh, they needed that.
They're scoring runs at will, are the South Australians. And getting back to that Cameron Boyce statistic, his run conceded average is now an absolute perfect 0.00. So, yeah, that's a really compelling statistic. I thought that's my stat of the week.
And 14 wickets behind that, by the look of it. You'll see Cam Boyce in action later. Another 2 runs. Final ball to the pair now, and they've moved to 27, 18 of which have come from Granger Balding. A couple of back net shots certainly helping that statistic. Well, an opportunity there. Ooh, the bat in the air. I would have appealed a little bit stronger for that one on that angle, but it is in the book as a single, and they finish with 28, and they are well on their way to victory here. The South Australian side, Victoria, will have to find something very special here if they are to take first spot in the final. We'll check in quickly with the minor semi-final in this same division, Queensland up against Western Australia. Queensland, as you pointed out earlier, Gary, the defending champions up against the most recent champions before them, Western Australia. Queensland scored 86. WA are in the 7th over with 20 on the board. That second pair with only 3 runs after, in the 7th over. So Queensland looking good, but gee, that one looks like it'll go down to the wire, I think.
Yeah, it certainly will, and thanks for keeping us updated on that one, Cameron Malta. So, yeah, that'll be very, very interesting. That team that wins, they obviously get a bit of a breather. And they may very well, the loser, be looking at playing South Australia at this stage.
Brad Harris and Lachlan Ferguson are on the court for SA. Lachlan King is the bowler. Starts well with a dot. He is again persisting with that 2-man leg side field. So he's made his, given himself a very small margin of error, but he executed well on that delivery.
Yeah, he's sticking with it. He's being persistent.
Too much width that time. Certainly the length he was going for, but enough width that Harris got it away for runs.
And times are pretty fun right now if you're wearing a red Guernsey, because you're very, very close to overtaking that Victoria total with plenty of overs in hand.
Chance at the top, but again, spot on communication there from South Australia. We saw, I think, 2 or 3 times 2 Victorians end up at the same side of the court. Haven't seen it once from South Australia. Oh, it's a wide one. Chased it. And hits it for 2. Just 1 run away from the Vic total. Oh, it's through, and that's the go-ahead shot. And it's looking all good for South Australia now. It's probably almost academic now, but Victoria will have to start thinking about playing in the prelim.
Yeah, their focus will begin to shift, because this game is looking increasingly further from their grasp as we continue. Earlier on, these 2 teams, they played on Monday. South Australia getting the goods 85 to Victoria's 77. That's the only game that they've played against each other. There's 8 teams in this 21 and under men's competition, so
well, they should definitely have played each other twice.
Yeah, it's the only one that's come up there. Let's have a look. Queensland Vic, that's the one we've just covered.
Excuse me, you're not talking about South Australia Victoria. Who are you talking about?
Yeah, South Australia Victoria.
Yeah, they should have played each other twice.
How does that happen, Cam?
Well, in the first round, they play each other once, and in the second, given they both finished in the top 2, they should have played each other a second time.
So just quickly run through.
This isn't your technology skills.
Oh, mate, I mean, we know that I'm poor, mate. we know that I'm poor.
Let me log into the back end and...
you do a deep dive.
Yeah, I'll do that. You run us through the action while
Mate, I shouldn't be allowed anywhere near any kind of technology. It's ridiculous. So I'll keep you up to date while Cam again does the heavy lifting with the IT gear. Fernando, right arm round the wicket. Oh, appeal, good appeal. Yes, do it. I love when indoor cricketers appeal for the LBWs.
Don't see it given out very often.
No.
It's probably because it's not out very often.
No, that's also right. Saw a very cheeky LBW appeal in an NICL, National Indoor Cricket League finals match in Canberra. I forget the teams that were playing. And the poor old batsman, it hasn't been given out, but the fielding team have all gone up as one, big unison pretending that it was a dismissal. And the poor old batters turn around blowing up at the umpy, and the umpy's like, mate, I haven't given it out. It was beautiful stuff. There it is. Thanks, Cam. So they played again on Wednesday. South Australia 128 beat Victoria 62, so they really pumped them.
Got a shot there of the South Australian women's team there, here supporting the 21 men.
How good does this place look? It really is a brilliant facility. Can't stress that enough to the folks at home. Casey Stadium, it is brilliant.
Tell you what, though, I reckon it's the longest walk through the front doors of a centre to the actual courts that I've ever encountered.
I was hoping they would give me one of them things like they do at the airport, you know, the little golf carts, and just get me from A to B. Even a poor man's one, you know, like give me a pair of roller skates or something, mate. I'll get from one end to the other. But it is
a little Segway.
Yeah, it is a good 100-metre walk from the entry to the other end of the sports stadium where we are here for indoor cricket.
It's just huge. It really is. It's just a gigantic stadium. And, yeah, it necessitates that walk.
Yeah.
Van Hees continues. Ferguson has sort of been wandering around that crease like he's on a mission. He's gotten away with it so far. He gets away with it again. It's pretty loose, but I suppose you can afford to be that when you're 11 runs in front with 5.5 overs to play.
Yeah, I don't think these guys are too stressed out in the slightest, to be fair with you. They're enjoying themselves.
Yeah, look, I accept that, but Mark Harvey would be watching.
Yeah, he would be.
Just because this is the side that wins the major doesn't mean it's the team that will win the grand final. So any sort of ill discipline will not go down well.
Oh, it's a sharp. It's been given out now. I don't know if the wicketkeeper was too convinced that it was out on the first occasion. It was probably run out at the top end regardless. But
well, he's given it out third ball, so it may have.
Wouldn't have mattered anyway. I thought Monday maybe he'd spilled the lollies there, wicket keeping, but keenly picked up there by Cameron Walter, a third ball dismissal. Okay, well that's a little bit different then, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm not sure why it's out third ball. I didn't catch the replay, but he must have stopped.
Yeah, he must have. I didn't catch it.
We may need to work on our vision. We are, in fact, sitting right in front of this game.
Yeah. You couldn't be really in a better spot to be watching a game of indoor cricket. And we're on the side where the non-striker runs as well, if you don't mind. So.
Yeah. So Zoma is bowling the final over to this pair. An opportunity here. See, I guess the point I was sort of making earlier, Ferguson wandering around his crease, okay, that may be his style.
Yeah.
Okay? But this pair hasn't exactly been the most convincing.
No.
They've certainly offered the most opportunities. And these are the things that the coach will be watching. It doesn't matter to Mark Harvey that these guys are home and hosed. That doesn't matter. To win a grand final, you have to be up and ready for every single moment. You can't afford any moments of ill discipline. So these things will factor in. I'm not making a case for anybody to get dropped.
Yeah.
Just as a student of the game, I find it interesting how different people behave in scenarios like this one.
Yeah, it's a pretty fair comment. And Harris and Ferguson, they should be up around that 20 mark at the moment. They're on 13, and I suppose it's like, the AFL or the rugby league team when, they're winning by 30 points or whatever it is, you still want to see them do the little things right. Chase the ball when it's been kicked to wherever and make that tackle or put in that extra little bit of effort. Similar kind of premise there, I suppose. And, it's a really valid point that you make.
Final ball to the pair. again, shuffling across. Tucks it away for 2, and they move to 15. 79 the total. They're 10 runs ahead. 4 overs remaining. What, if you were a betting man, what odds would you give final pair here? Neg 15?
It'd be under the old exotics tab, mate. It would, man alive.
100 to 1?
Oh, no, it'd have to be shorter than that.
Shorter
I
than that?
Yeah. It's like, what, 25 games? Would we watch 25 games? Well, there's 8 batting partnerships in the game, I should probably say.
Yeah.
100 divided by 8. Who's got the hands and feet out? You've got, how many games is that, Cameron?
How many partnerships?
How many partnerships is that, yeah?
200 on the nose.
So, yeah, I reckon we'd see it. Yeah, 100 to 1, I guess it would be about right. You've done well. You've done well, very well. A little bit too well, scarily well.
You know, it's not my first rodeo.
Yeah, no.
However, yeah, the reality is that South Australia will be taking their place in the 21 and under men's final. It's just a matter of by what margin they win this match now. And for Victoria, it means a prelim. So you use the term that the focus shifts now. That's on the money. They do need to start thinking about that game. The coaching staff will be thinking about what do we need to do to turn this result around. It can't be as simple as, oh, well, we're playing a different team. We're playing a team that finished below us on the ladder. Because the team has still suffered a loss, and players in this game haven't performed as well as they would like. And that affects the performance in the next game. So all too often you see teams who win the minor semi-final go on to win the prelim.
Yep.
Because they've won the last game. So it's tough. They're in a tough place, Victoria. You know, coming into this game, they're happy. But it's very tough to lose the major and then turn around and win the prelim.
Yeah, you know, they've dropped 3 games in the 10 that they've played, winning 7, lost 3.
So they've lost 2 to South Australia. Who was their other loss to? You knew you'd ask me that, didn't you?
Technology on me. Actually, I should be able to find that one out pretty quick. Western Australia. Western Australia beat them 101 to 94.
Well, speaking of Western Australia, there's 4.4 overs remaining in their innings. They're on 54 in pursuit of Queensland's 86. So if WA do end up winning that game, that's going to be a cracking prelim final. Well, I suppose it'll be that either way, but WA are a team that have defeated this Victorian side. It's a good shot there from Lamerton as South Australia continue their ascendancy. 89 runs on the board now with a couple and a half overs to play. I wonder how competitive it is to get into this Victorian 8, whether the coaching staff would be considering any changes ahead of that prelim.
Well, that's probably a question I'll bounce back to you, because you've had quite a fair bit of experience in coaching sides and making probably that very same decision, I must say. So,
well, I guess one of the points I'd probably make if I were coaching this side and talking to them after this game is they actually haven't done a lot wrong. A lot of, sure, there's a couple of occasions where, you know, they ended up at the same end of the pitch when they were batting. A couple of occasions where that happened. So miscommunication certainly cost them, but they're not bowled junk. They weren't batting crazily.
Yeah.
The simple fact is that South Australia have batted very, very well and made Victoria pay for a couple of simple mistakes. So that'd be the first message to this team. And you know, I certainly couldn't look at this side and go, well, this loss is on any one of these people, and I'm going to look at dropping them. So Plenty
tough.
to be positive about for the Vics. And yes, tough is the right word. Coaching's not fun when you've got to drop people or not select people. Noticed just then, Gary, the Sri Lankan side here entering the venue. They're taking part in the junior tournament in the 15 and under boys division next week. Always good to have an international flavour in our national titles. I have it on good authority. They've got a couple of overage players in that team, so we're actually not eligible to win the division. But it's part of the ongoing development of international indoor cricket that they're here. They'll play in that 15s division, and welcome to them and our best wishes.
Yeah, we certainly do love it when our international guests come along and visit. The Sri Lankan side coached by Asela Patharana.
Yeah,
I'm sure they're going to have a lovely time here in Australia. And it's funny what you said just then. I was having a chat to Willie Brink, who is a South African, who's come across to play in our national championships. He's qualified. He's played in the National Indoor Cricket League and is eligible to play for Western Australia. And I was having a discussion to him about it just this morning, in fact. And I was saying something along the lines of, I feel that as Australians, we've got a certain degree of responsibility to grow the global game of indoor cricket. I feel that there is an onus of responsibility on us. We're very fortunate that we're governed by Cricket Australia. They do such wonderful things, and the pathways that we've got at state levels all across the nation are so strong. So, the international guys and girls can come along, see how we run things here in Australia, take that back to their nations and hopefully build a bigger and stronger brand of indoor cricket in their home nations. So big advocate for it.
Absolutely, and that's 100% true with Sri Lanka and Singapore that have been back here. I think South Africa, it's very popular over in South Africa as it is. I think one of the things that we'd like to see, I guess, over in South Africa is closer work between their indoor and outdoor bodies. I think that's one of the barriers there, and I think they suffered more recently from the same thing that we suffered from in Australian indoor cricket decades ago, and that's a splintering in the governance of indoor cricket. So if you can't get on the same page in your own governance,
makes it hard.
Yeah, exactly. In any event, South Australia 102 on the board. This pair just sort of coasting through to victory here. They will be on third ball now. Monday, the bowler, Spall on strike. Safely seen off by Spall. There wasn't a lot of threat in that delivery. And 2 to come now. 2 deliveries separate South Australia from a place in the 2019 21 and under men's grand final. And here they are. That was almost steered into the net, wasn't it?
Isn't indoor cricket easy when there's no pressure on you?
God.
That was just so nonchalant, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Boom, there you go, have the 2.
Final ball now. Oh, and a great catch to finish for Monday. Spall had enough and decided to see if he could hit a Zach off the last ball, and ends up losing his wicket. However, doesn't matter for South Australia. A convincing win for them here in the 21 and under men's major semi-final, running out victors 101 to 69 and collecting 3 skins along the way. Where do you think this match turned, Lowy?
Well, look, I thought a really big turning point was in the third batting partnership for Victoria when they were on the comeback. That's when I thought, okay, we're heading in this direction now. And then all of a sudden, the South Australians said, no, we're coming back this way again. And then they came out and just batted brilliantly, didn't they?
Yeah.
That was the real key. Very few opportunities that they gave in their batting display, which I thought was brilliant. And, didn't really do a great deal wrong. It was quite a polished performance, and you really expect that, I guess, from a team that only dropped 1 game all week.
Indeed, couldn't agree more. Just a quick update on the other semi-final. Queensland defending 86. WA with 2.1 overs remaining are on 67. So that'll be a tight finish, folks. Keep your eye on indoor.cricket.com.au for that result and all the rest from Indoor Cricket's National Championships. Until next time, thanks for your company. I'm Cameron Walter alongside Gary Lowe. Gary, lovely to chat with you.
Yes, likewise.
And thanks again for watching, and we'll see you next time.